Great.
All right, let's go. Okay, so today we're gonna do listing marketing. Okay, so you did all the paperwork together for your listing last week. You got the listing, congratulations. Now
Yay.
comes the big part. It's a listing marketing. And I just kind of want to lead with this. Like the first lesson I learned in real estate was don't get emotional about real estate. The second lesson I learned in real estate, and this is the best one, and you guys need to all write this down, mentally keep it, know this for the rest of your lives. This is like the most important thing to know about real estate, is that business begets business, okay? And so there's nothing like having a real estate sign in the ground for your career. It's the best thing. Like each listing you get is worth another half listing, which is worth another half listing, which is worth another half listing, and then it just exponentially can mushroom out from there, okay? So we want to make sure that we're doing a great job marketing. Super important, not because you're trying to sell the house. Listing marketing is kind of a farce, okay? Like we were talking to Dwight today about this Luxury Homes magazine, right? And when I first got into real estate, I did a lot of advertising with the person I worked for in Luxury Homes magazine. And only one time I think we ever sell a home because of that magazine. Because there's so many other resources where people are actually shopping. Like nobody's waiting to go looking for houses until Luxury Homes magazine comes out.
Oh, I am.
You are. She is.
I'm waiting to win a lottery to
Old
do
school.
that, but yeah.
Old school. The point of that magazine is it's an advertisement for the realtors. So when you're thinking about listing marketing, you're advertising your ability to market, not your ability to sell the house. Because really, if you wanted to be cheap, you could, especially in this market, you can run out there with your iPhone, take one photo of the front of the house, put it on the market, and probably sell it over the weekend. If it's the right price point, right neighborhood, it'd be that easy. But you're never getting any future business out of that. Is that the idea of this, is to get future business? So we want to talk about listing marketing today.
Anybody have any questions about listing marketing first? Concerns? Just bring it to you.
Yeah, I really like those matter more things that, what we're looking for ourselves, those are so nice.
Yeah.
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 You can get rooms that are not pictured otherwise too.
Yeah, totally. Yes. You get rooms that are too small to photograph, right? Don't underestimate the cool factor when doing marketing. Like that's so important. But let's start with the front of the house.
Front of the house,
Get the photo.
day
Okay.
one, happy,
But yes,
Having
perfect.
yourself
Even better.
for
Right.
right?
So I've always had a document, and it came from it wasn't very good looking, but it came from my photographer that I was using at the time. I would go send in all my listing packets. And it was just talking about staging. Staging is super important. And I'm not talking about necessarily having someone come in and stage a house, although if it's vacant, I like staging, especially maybe not so much in this market, but in like a market that's not quite as hot. I like staging. You can really update a home. I had a house one time up on Cooper Mountain. It was super dated and had amazing views. And every time someone came through it, it was just dated. Every time people came through it, they're like, "Ew, it's so dated. Oh my gosh, the home's so dated." Took it off the market over the holidays, put it back on at the turn of the year, staged it, and all the comments went from, "Ew, it's so dated," to, "Oh my gosh, what an amazing view." It's like they didn't talk anything about the furniture or furnishings in there, but it changed their perspective, right? They came in and they started looking out the windows instead of looking at the green brand.
If you don't have furniture in there, then now they're looking at, they've got to look at the room.
Yeah.
Right, and see, oh, how's my furniture gonna fit?
Yeah.
What am I gonna do? But if you have beautiful furniture and decorations up, now it goes to the other details of the home instead of, oh.
So
Yeah,
staging can be having a stager come in, but at a minimum, it means minimizing, okay? Getting rid of a lot of clutter, like magnets on the refrigerator, gone, get rid of them. Don't have magnets on the refrigerator. I'm not one of those people who say you can't have personal photos up. I went on a listing appointment one time, and every photo in the house was a wedding photo. Every single, and they were proud of these photos. Every big ones, small ones, medium-sized ones, all over the house. And I suggested they take them down. They didn't, sold the house over the weekend anyways. But I thought that was a little distracting, like it was a little bit too much about their wedding, and maybe you could get away from the house. But I don't think a few personal photos is a big deal. I think it warms the house a little bit. Some people hate it. I don't know, that's,
Some people feel
Yes, some
that
yeah.
if you have pictures of, down the hall, grandkids, the whole entire family and stuff, now it's their house and the people can't move themselves into the home. So you want the people to move themselves into the home. If they see all these other generations of family living in this house, then that can totally take it away. Just like in Montana, the big thing was get the heads off the walls, right?
Yeah.
Because every single house had deer heads, elk, bear, whatever. That was fine for the basement, but not necessarily because not every person wants that in their house. And even though they don't own it, the stuff, to put on the walls, if it's in there, then they're like,
Yeah.
right? Religious materials, hangings, anything like that, it's gotta come down. That's how
Yeah,
Too.
I don't disagree with you. I think if it's distracting from the showing, then it's gotta go. Okay, so, and don't be afraid to have a conversation. It's your job, right? You're the professional. It's your job to explain to them. I had a really uncomfortable conversation one time. This was early 2000, and it was this great big house on Schaefer Road out in Stafford. It was like 6,000 square feet. It was enormous. Really odd layout. And a gentleman owned it. His partner had passed a couple years earlier from AIDS, and he was really proud of his partner. And he had these plaques up that were like Mr. Gay Male 2000, 1993, 94, 95. I was like, I don't know what the thing was, but I don't know what the parameters were to become Mr. Gay Male, but they were everywhere, and I would show the house, like I was the one showing it, and people would stop and look at it, and it got to be really distracting. So it was a really hard conversation to have because it meant a lot to them. And it was just like a sign of his, his loved one. But I was like, look, they're a little distracting from what's going on with the showing. That wasn't judging. I don't feel judgment at all. But it
It's
was,
a reminder, you're moving out, you're selling the home.
Mhm.
We want them to want this to be their home, so let's get as much of your stuff out as we can.
so tough conversations sometimes in this business, but just come to it from a place of fact. When you're having tough conversations, the more uncertain you are about the conversation, the worse it's gonna go. So just be very factual when you have tough conversations about removing furnishings. My other rule is for photographs, there's a couple of them. If it's a flat surface and the item sitting on the flat surface isn't like a really decorative object, remove it. Because like when you take photos, it just flattens the photo everything out, and the depth isn't the same. And so a photo can get really, really cluttered really, really fast by having a lot of things on top of flat surfaces, so like tabletops, countertops.
Minimize it all.
Minimize, yep.
Yeah.
Clutter, big pieces of furniture can really make a room look small. So
If you deal like older people, that is safe, like, guns and.
Yeah.
Because they're attached.
Yeah.
How do you just do it
tough
yourself?
conversation.
Tough conversation, show them pictures, show them the difference.
Yeah.
You can find listings, right? You can Google and find clutter,
Just show them an example.
show them the samples. Show
If they can't do it, they can't do it. Right? We can only do our best. We can
Right,
only do our best. And like you can't go into a house and move a bunch of furniture. Right? You're not able to do that. I would like to see pick up new furniture. Yeah.
she could.
Oh, with some help.
Should we do it at that point because?
Not without their permission, obviously.
No, you don't do it, but
Yeah.
you just let them know, you're gonna have to pack it and move it anyways when we sell the home. And by doing this now, it can help make your sale quicker, it can get us more offers, right? It's gonna be more attractive for buyers to want to come see it, because what they see in the picture is what's gonna get them in the home. And if it's too much on the picture, they're gonna skip right on past it.
You could sell it, especially in this market, you could sell it in a state that's probably just fine. You probably could
Oh
get
my gosh.
2 or 3
I'm
options.
trying to find it.
But what if you got 12? That makes a big difference, right? So maximize what you have through staging and cleanliness, tidiness. I had a client one time, she said, I gave her my speech about staging, and I came in and all the crap that was everywhere was just now neatly stacked in a pile. This is not what I'm going for. Piles bad, no piles are distracting. One time I was at a shoot one time, and the client was, she was really busy, and her husband was really busy, and their house, they had dogs, there was hair everywhere, and there's stuff everywhere. We were literally running from room to room, moving stuff out of one room so we could shoot it, and then picking it up, putting it back, and taking stuff from the other room to put it back to get those good photos. So it's super important. The other thing, towels. Like hanging towels, like especially in the kitchen, like if people have dish towels hanging on cabinets or like on the handle to the stove. It is so distracting, so distracting. Big, huge towel sets in bathrooms can be super distracting because they just jump off the screen sometimes. So what it looks like, and don't be afraid to be like with your photography. I attend every photo shoot. I don't ever just go shoot that. I go to every photo shoot and I'm looking through the camera lens. Like if I have a question about a shot or if I think it's really important, I'm like, hey, can I see that? Can you show me what you saw? Because I want to make sure the angles are right. I want to make sure they're in the room right. I want to make sure the height's right. Sometimes photographers get really low and all you see is the edge of the countertops on the photos because they're shooting them too low. So have them come up just a little bit. You don't want to be at the top as tall as I am because it makes the rooms look, you want to have it kind of, I don't know, 4 feet or so.
So I think this, for me, I think this would apply to photographing a property. When I had a B&B and occasionally hired a professional photographer, I asked that photographer not to make it look better than it actually was, because I didn't want guests to walk in and go, oh my God, this isn't what I thought I rented.
Yeah, sell the house you're selling.
Yeah,
Right.
sell the
Photograph
house
the
you're
house you're
selling. So that in your thing with carrying the clutter from one room and then putting it back to photograph the next room, did you ask that seller to?
She was there, and she was there, and I was pissed. And she knew. I walked in, I was like, it was contentious thing. They listed with us anyways, but it's very contentious the whole time for some reason. The husband was kind of a jerk, he was never around. But I was like, I walked in, I was like, I'm gonna reschedule this. We don't. She's like, we gotta go now. I was like, the house is nowhere near to be ready to be shooted. It's like this is like the most important day. And I tell my clients that. This is the most important day of our listing is this photo shoot. Super important. The house has got to be perfect.
So did she get rid of the clutter?
That we eventually she finished cleaning up before we brought it to market. Yeah, this is a perfect example, right? Isn't that terrible? Like,
Yes.
what's that photo of?
Oh, the shoes.
Yeah, shoes.
Look at this.
Look at that behind it.
Look at the ceiling, like, couldn't you have done such a better job with this? This house probably could look very nice. Now look, then they come in and they're going, oh, let's take measurements.
Well, what's the purpose of that photo? What's it showing? There's a door.
There's a
There's a front door.
There's
no
no
And a piano. Are we selling a piano?
It's proof that there's no shoe storage.
Right.
You have
Exactly.
that
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
They
you-
wanna sell it.
Right.
Maybe.
Look at, the whole thing's cluttered, right? So somebody didn't have a discussion with their client. And this costs them money, like people didn't come see this house, they're like, ew. And like, you're like, where do I get for my shoes, right? You don't wanna go see this house.
Like, look at this.
Like, yeah, I live like that, but I don't sell my house like that. Yeah, I don't have a home office either.
Getting religious.
Yeah,
This, is that attractive for kitchen?
towel. Look at the towel, look at how raggy that towel is, my gosh. And the garbage
And the
can.
dishwasher is dirty. We all know there's garbage cans in houses, but we move them out. We don't, and the magnets on the fridge. So prime example, this one just came out. My client passed instantly.
We tag this one, just to see what happens to the.
Oh, watch list it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's watch this.
yeah. I mean, even the bedroom,
Oh,
look
good
at that,
God.
look at this one.
If I showed up and my clients had this, I would be furious. I'd be like, I'm spending my money on advertising your house and this is what you're giving me to advertise, like you're putting my hands down with that.
Look at the bathroom. Let's see if they got a, oh, they got a picture.
Look how bad that is. See, this is
Look
what I'm
at
talking about. Get that stuff up. There should be nothing. There should be nothing on that.
Yes, this is a listing. It
Yeah.
just came out. It just came out.
There should be nothing on this countertop.
Always like
Look at
that,
that.
you know,
Look.
sometimes
There's a
clients
vacuum.
are hard, but
Yeah.
how do you tell them like
You just tell them. You just tell them. Show them this. Like you can't.
You
have this.
show them the difference between this and another listing where it's clean and uncluttered, and you just keep reminding them, you've got to move anyways.
Mhm.
So pack up your stuff and get it out.
Have you rented storage units for people?
I wouldn't pay for it.
I wouldn't pay for it, no
But
way.
I would suggest it for sure.
So
They'll
probably-
get their money back out of that, like what's it, like a couple $100 a month, right? Right, and you'll get 10 times that, 20 times that, right? 100 times that back. It's not easy to make, like, look how bad, I bet you if this house is cleaned up, you sell it for 10%.
Oh, for sure.
They got a distressed property.
It's probably a rental.
Let's go see, shall we? They did a
It's a
floor
challenge, I
plan.
guess, if you have tenants and they don't.
Oh, yeah.
and you're lucky.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, yep.
another-
It's a
another-
tenant.
Yeah, there's a tenant, that's another thing about mine, if you ever have tenants in the house.
And I can
They
tell
cost
you,
you money.
right now, so in
Almost
the
always
area
costs
that
money.
this home is at, all 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms around that square footage had been going for 450 to 475.
How much?
450 to 475, so
Mhm.
they had to come down to 399 because of the quality. of
Because
what
they
it's
wouldn't
sitting
do
at.
this.
Well, it's because they're
These
tenants, their tenants wouldn't do it, their tenants won't comply, they don't, like, the tenant has no skin in the game.
Right.
So this is why I always tell my seller clients who have tenants, like, you really, if you can at all, remove the tenants from the property. You have to get them out, because it's gonna cost you money.
Mhm.
Because they don't have to leave for the showings. So could you imagine just them just sitting there, living their lives while you're trying to show the house?
Yeah, I've
It'd
done
be
it.
good. Like you're trying to have an open house and they're sitting there. Who are these weirdos? It'd just be so off, yeah, so I've shown properties where people don't leave, like with some gal was getting ready, like in her, like old nightgown. Like it just like the most awkward things that you've seen in showing properties with tenants. It's just a bad deal.
Another one I can't find.
It'll just turn people off.
There's another one that came on over the weekend, I can't find it, but it was like walking back into the 80s. Every room had wallpaper and ivy wallpaper, full-on floral wallpaper. The furniture was definitely an older person that lived in there, just because of the way the decor was, the furniture, and it was pristine, don't get me wrong. It was actually really nice, a little cluttered,
Mhm.
but it was definitely clean and well taken care of. But the wallpaper and everything else, my clients were like, no way. So, but not being able to see past, right?
So one of the ways to have that conversation, like when I first got into real estate, I worked with this gal, and she was like, she wasn't a sandwich method necessarily, but she would run around and compliment, and then point out something bad, and then compliment, point out something bad. Just say, look, it's my job to tell you the good, the bad, the ugly, no matter what. And so this is it. In order for us to accentuate the positives of your house, this, and this, we need to get rid of some of these negatives so people can see, can be paying attention to how great the view is, or how great the floor plan is, or how spacious the room is. But it's hard to do that when they're staring at a thing full of shoes, or whatever the thing is, like whatever the distraction is, bring it up and say, it's hard to do. It's gonna be missed because people are gonna be focusing on something that's negative as opposed to what's positive. So that's the way to have a conversation. And just tell them, look, it's my job to tell you the things you don't want to hear. You wouldn't hire me if I just told you what you wanted to hear. Yeah, so,
So conversation.
it's not comfortable.
Worth it though.
Yeah.
Photography?
You don't have to.
What if you lose the listing because the seller doesn't agree?
It's still,
I wanna do it like this because there are some.
Yep.
I wanna do it like this. What do you do?
You tell them fine, but then.
well, that's your
we're
job to
right.
convince them why. See, the deal, so people talk about sales, right? Well, this isn't sales, we're not sales, we're in
No.
marketing. The sales we do is on our own clients. And that's where you convince them, you show them the benefit of doing it your way. And if you show them the proper way, they'll do it. Some
And if
people
you
won't,
don't-
you're right, some people are stubborn and they won't do it, there's nothing you can do about that, you can't.
Then you have the
Yeah.
conversation about how long their property's gonna sit on the market.
Yeah.
And the longer it sits on the market, the likely that they're gonna get a lower offer, right? They're not gonna see the multiple offer situation that other homes, next door neighbor or whatever you've shown them or they brought up to you. You're not gonna get that with your home in this condition.
The correlation between market time and price is undeniable.
You still
Yes.
pay like a company like Virtuous to go and do photography in a house like
Yeah,
that?
you have to,
Absolutely.
you have to,
You want to just do like a cheaper.
no. And there's not much cheaper.
No,
It really is
their
really
prices
cheaper.
are really, have you done
They really
any with them yet?
The prices are really competitive.
Very
You
competitive.
might find something slightly cheaper, but not, but
You-
you still need to have the best photos you can of what you got. You
You know
can go
what?
back.
You could go with a lower
When I
package.
was putting, like my first listing on the market, I called Weird Plants. And I had a fun experience with them. They were like, oh, well, you know, yes, this guy, like, I put you someone in contact, so he gave me the phone number, called them. And I mean, I was in a hurry.
Well, if you get run around like that from them, you just let us know, we'll tell Dwight, and Dwight will be on there. Because
Yeah.
Dwight's he's a very good customer of them, he also is the one who negotiated the deal. So he knows the people to talk to make sure you get.
They don't negotiate with anyone.
They called me they sent me into a funny voicemail, but if it's an emergency, this can now call 911. And then, you know, but later on, I just wait for them to call me, they then call, so I call them back. Oh, you are almost there. Voicemail, I like that. Where is this going? Call later, and oh, you are in there. Voicemail, like what is this? And I wasn't in the mood for
It sounds like you got a
playing
weird number or
around.
something.
Yeah, did you get the wrong number?
No. So I was just like, this is ridiculous. So I ended up going with someone else because.
So you can choose your photographer there too, right? When you go in and set up the schedule, it'll give you who's available at the times, the dates and times that you put in there. So if you've had a bad experience, talk to Dwight, ask him who was your photographer that you liked, right? I don't know, when I put in for a drone this weekend, I only had one person, so I don't know if they only have one here or that went out where I had it going, but you should get multiple. And if you find one you like, you can make sure that you're getting that person every time.
So photos, then we got photos, but we're not done with just photos, right? I think in this market, especially when you're building your book of business, you want to use as many of these options as you can afford. So I would do like you're saying, the Matterport or the Zillow tour. I would do one of those two photos, one of those two virtual tours, either one. I would sometimes Zillow promotes their own products a little bit better than they do other people's products. So you might get a little bit more attention on your listing if you use the Zillow tour than the Matterport tour, but I don't know that for sure. But I just know they have a tendency in the past to do that. And so necessary evil. And so
What's the difference between the two?
they're actually almost exactly the same. The Matterport gives you that weird, like three-dimensional dollhouse picture.
Where you can actually walk into it.
And the Zillow one, you can walk into it too, but it doesn't start with the dollhouse. You just get a floor plan sketch like that last one, like that one you saw there, you get that floor plan sketch. So they both have it. I like the floor plan sketch, just simpler. I don't like the dollhouse view. I think it's weird. I don't know, some people like it, I just think it looks weird.
Is the Zillow one also shot by virtual?
Yes, it is an option.
Yeah, it's just a special camera. It's what they do is they go like every 18 inches and take a photo. It's nuts. And you literally can just walk through the house, turn, look around, see stuff. You have an avatar as a body, that's really good. It's a really good tool. Sir, join us. Come learn something.
Is this real estate?
Yes.
Here, the Zillow 3D home tour starts at $99.
The Matterport's a little bit more expensive.
No images?
That must just be it's just the video.
It's the tour.
It's a tour, so it's not stills.
No, you still want to do your images up here.
And I would always suggest doing
And
the 32.
It changes based off of, daylight and twilight, and then also by your zip code, and then this is where they start at. So depending on square footage.
And then, and I really like drones as well. So like, I think budgeting some money for photography is super important. Because we can do print advertising, there's some options there, they get a little bit more expensive, but you need something good to push people to. So you're gonna put all this stuff on a website, right? And we want to be able to direct people to this website. They want to be able to show them how you've got 32 great photos, you've got a virtual tour, you've got a drone video. That's like all pretty impressive. Like, it's not just for people who are gonna buy the house, because they're probably gonna buy the house anyways.
Right.
But it's the neighbors, who are going to check it out and want to see what you have to offer. It's
Your
people
future
you.
listing
you-
appointments,
Mhm, you can use it for
everything that you
appointments.
do.
People you know, their neighbor, they're the people, your client's family, they're like, oh my gosh, look what our realtor did, look at all these cool photos, oh my gosh, I feel like I shouldn't move, look how great my house looks. These are conversations, these are things that they say all the time, yeah,
You get to keep all that too after you've paid for it.
right,
Yeah,
So that's
sure.
okay.
So you're gonna create, and the idea, so what we're doing is we're gathering a bunch of great marketing materials that we can put on one landing page website that you wanna direct all of your customers and clients to, for that property. And you want it to look good.
You can also, so we recommend that you do the landing page through Command because then we can capture the clients when they go to it. Richards also has, where's it at? Marketing announcements, custom URL. So you can do a custom URL and you get a website for the tour, for the videos and the pictures, right? So you could use that, but I don't know if there's, Peter, you use them, don't you, or do you still use Travis?
Mostly traffic.
Travis, if you can capture people from that, right? And that's the key. We want to be able to capture anybody that clicks on it, schedule a showing, want more
Contact me.
information, contact, anything that you can get on your Command landing page, which could be a specific listing page,
And you can drive traffic to just one page, right, your SE number, SEO
Yeah.
numbers go up a little bit.
right?
Just the newest sidebar.
Well, you know you want that in the winter.
So what they do is they're gonna edit the background to give you a black, blue sky no matter what. I think it's an absolute imperative to do that.
So it
So,
doesn't look dreary. They do a really good job. Yeah,
yeah, they edit the background.
Technology
just
today.
Make sure it's in blue skies. Photoshop, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, fast.
Because like people in California moving up here, they don't want to see gray skies.
And then you come here and
Okay.
No.
This is probably a great area, but
They come here in June, July, and then the weather is consistent.
Yeah.
maybe you just don't misrepresent the house.
Right, so,
But you're not saying that it's never a blue sky.
yeah, you're not disturbed, that's not a because there are blue skies.
Yeah.
And behind it.
It's nice.
If you take out
Like, yeah, you take a power line out.
power lines, then you misrepresented it.
Right.
Wait, just, that's.
Please.
If you've got a budget issue, which most of us have, priority is 32 photographs in Matterport. We almost never use drones unless there's tremendous view hillside property for residential or country property.
Yep.
But we managed to get
Yeah.
pretty far along without using drones, so that would be my third priority.
I would only move drone up if you had a house where you were like looking up a steep driveway or something. Because you needed to have a really, really good first picture of the house, good front photo of the house.
And they will be able to
And
get-
looking up at it like this is not a good photo, so
They'll
if
do
you
the
can-
drone
a
and
drone-
take nice even.
yeah, get
Or
nice.
have acres maybe?
Oh,
And
for
well,
sure.
and I like drones for anything, I would like a drone, especially like, again, if you have a budget for it. I like I agree with you 1, 2, and 3, in most situations for the budget, for budget purposes. If you have a budget for it, do the drone, because again, it's something you're gonna show somebody later that they'd be impressed about the width of your marketing package.
You have to have at least one drone.
Yeah, exactly,
Right.
exactly. But I wouldn't use a drone if it was accentuating neighbors, like if there was like an auto body shop or like if it was like an electric towers behind me or something bad, I'm not trying to hide it, but I'm not going to lead with what the bad stuff is necessarily, so.
And how much money approximately?
Drones?
Uh-huh.
It was
Um,
179.
Yeah, it depends.
So here,
I just did.
179.
Starts at 179, so I just ordered this one, 10 exterior and
You
It's
ordered,
good. video.
images and a video for
You-
drone video.
you ordered the
I
179?
did, yep, I have a land listing, a couple acres, and it's on a hillside with 5 mountain views. So, no home, going drone, right?
Dwight was telling us about what he just did at Mountain Park, and so he did the drone video, and it starts like in the woods and kind of zooms through the woods and zooms back over the hot tub that's open and bubbling up, and it's such a really nice It's a really nice thing.
Very unique properties you're gonna wanna use it on.
Yeah.
For sure, even in town, especially has a really amazing backyard. Cause they can do some really cool things.
If it's next to a park. Photos of a park. If there's something, if there's a draw, we have a hard time showing up, if someone shot closely to something, there's a lot of good reasons.
It all comes down to, yes, that is a high price ticket, but go backwards, right? What's your budget? What's the home gonna sell for? What's your commission gonna be? What if that drone video gets you 2 more listings in that area? Or you're using it for your marketing, going into marketing, right? It's not just marketing this property, it's marketing every property that you're gonna get from now on, because it's gonna stay on your website. You're gonna have, you can even add it and get a YouTube, you can build up a YouTube channel, right? So think about future wide and expansive of what that marketing dollar can do for you.
This seems expensive yet altogether, it's like $500 or $600. When I got into real estate, just to hold an open house in the weekend, have a crappy ad in the column of the
Yes.
Oregonian, it cost you like $250
Yeah,
just for a weekend open house.
and it was
And
mandatory.
you're like, God, can I afford to put the directions in on it? No, it's like, because it was really expensive line for line, it gets really expensive. These advertising costs are pittance to what we used to pay.
You look at all that stuff as marketing, because the house is just good photos, so.
Yeah, it is.
We don't
No,
even need
this is what I'm
photos.
saying, this is you're doing personal marketing, you're not marketing a house for sale, this is personal marketing.
One other thing you don't have there is particularly good is floor plan. So we're doing
Yes,
photos, Matterport,
Yeah.
and floor plan for listings, about 600.
almost
Yeah.
every listing I see now has a floor plan.
And buyers,
Has what?
they think
A
it's
floor
super,
plan.
Yeah, I love
buyers
that.
find that really helpful.
Yeah, because you wanna know,
Seller says, how many open houses you're gonna do? We have 24/7 open houses.
Right,
Mr. and Mrs. Seller. but-
right, with the Matterport tour or the Zillow tour, it's the same thing.
If it ever goes back to normal and actually listings take 60, 70 days to sell. Anybody remember that? Of course you don't, but that's normal,
yep,
typical.
yep,
Now it's 4 or 5 days, but the sky is falling.
Yeah,
We're only getting 2 or 3 offers instead of 20.
people are disappointed.
yeah.
But,
Depends on the
everybody
market.
back then, you have to have good reasons not to spend every moment of your life having one listing.
I was under the impression that usually photo shoots with the licensing for that was really just to market that property, that you couldn't take it and go do other things with it.
You have a license to
beyond
market it
that.
without, you're licensed, most photographers will let you use it for whatever you want.
Yeah, but if someone else wants to use your photo, they need to ask permission.
You don't have the right to
Like,
sell that.
Peter uses a stager, and she wanted to utilize the photos that Peter paid for to use on her website, because she staged the home.
Right.
Peter paid for the photographer didn't want her to
Right.
use them.
Right. So
It's more of a
she needed to
relationship
pay
issue,
$500
but if she could have went, and then he wanted her to pay for the pictures to use.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna clarify.
Yep, if
Yeah.
you're paying for the pictures to use for marketing,
So the homeowner has nothing,
They
no
don't.
say in it,
oh, well, you just have to get their permission to take the pictures.
in the beginning,
Yeah.
right, but after that,
And the
No,
home
it's all
office
yours.
doesn't own the photos, though.
You work with them if they say, I don't want that photo in my listing.
I've had clients that want to be involved in that process, and it's not horrible. I don't love it when they get that involved. It's kind of a sign of things to come. But so make sure you're priced
It
right.
depends on what the reasoning is, so if they feel like it's a safety issue.
Maybe, I mean, if there's a safety issue, I think you need to remove the safety issue. The photo is the issue, the safety issue is the issue. I mean, because people are gonna be coming through the house, right? We're gonna have people coming through the house. If there's something they don't want to be stolen, we should take it out, because we can't sit there and monitor it.
Safety or something.
Yeah, I don't know, I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess if it was for something like that, and it has a specific issue, I would definitely address it and deal with it, and try to work my plan on what they're able to do. It depends on the situation. Yeah. Depends on what it was. Like, if it was something like that, I guess that would be fine. If they just wanna have control, just in the marketing, I just wanna make sure they're gonna look good, it's like, okay, yeah, we can play that game for a little bit, but it's gonna wear everybody out eventually, so you gotta make sure you don't sell that.
Thinking less about control, more about who, because it's their house, and you work for them, who's, you can guide them, but at some point, if they're out and it's work.
That's a decision you have to decide, like, is this listing worth dealing with that level of oversight from my client? Yeah, it may be, probably is to all of you, probably most of the time it is worth it, right? But it's just like, pack your bag, you know you're gonna have, if they're really have strong opinions about the photos, and have strong opinions about everything you do. So just be ready, it's
So we're
like,
gonna get
what do you,
transaction.
can you please should send me what you're gonna write about the listing in the remarks first? I get that a lot too, and you deal with it, you do the best you can. But it's not even, they don't trust you entirely, probably is the first sentence, it's they're telling you they don't trust you entirely. They don't think that you can do this without their help. So just little keys, like just something you need to work with, like know going into it, they're gonna question you probably along the way, is what I think that is. So they don't.
I think a part of our work is dealing with personalities and
Yeah.
some of us are easier and, some of them are harder.
Mhm.
And like I had experience where I had to tell my clients like 3 or 4 times, please remove valuables, please remove valuables. Because it's like, oh, I left this in the closet. Well, it's call your closet. But, it's
Yeah,
very
make sure,
personal.
I mean, always like when you're telling them why, if you're doing something, I'm a big fan of telling them why, right? Could you please do this because? That's super important. I mean, just do it because I don't like it, isn't a good reason. Like, you need to give them a good reason.
Just reading about rush delivery on that screen, how long does it take for you to get somebody and get all of the photos through Virtuance?
I've never used virtual.
I ordered my drone, Sunday late afternoon. I had the choice of today, tomorrow, for the drone video. I am meeting them at noon tomorrow, and I will have everything on Wednesday.
I think it's faster for regular photos, I guess. I mean,
Yeah, but it's one day.
might be-
It's the next day.
Usually turnaround's the next day, or.
Right, but
or
I'm
they
saying,
end
yes,
up doing
being
it
able to
business
get it
day.
on the calendar. I just-
Oh, they had Monday available for me, and I was scheduled it on Sunday. I have limited time slots available, but
Some of them are more
Yeah, they're fast.
it is very fast.
Yeah, and then they normally charge a fee for cancel them.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
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 Let
Make sure your clients are ready.
Let your client know, hey, we're going to be charged for.
Okay, so we've got all our photos, we've got our virtual tours, we've got our drone photos, we've got them all. We need to put them someplace, and my suggestion would be to use the Keller Williams page that they've created for you.
Landing page.
Spot for that, to put that up, and that's where I would direct all my traffic from there. I would try to, so on every piece of advertising I did, I want it to point to that page, so. We were talking about this earlier today, the little perma flyers that you see, informational perma flyers that people put on houses. Some people don't like to put prices on those because if your price reductions, you gotta get your flyer done. They're like $20, right? Okay, think about how much you're gonna make. Is it okay to spend $20 to remake a flyer? I think it's okay. It's not that much money, it's $20.
To make a flyer?
To make it or remake it if you have to, because you have a price change or something. So one time, this is, let me back up a little bit. So there used to be this thing people used to do when we had flyers, from flyer boxes before perma flyers, that you would never put the price, no one ever wanted to put the price on a flyer because you want someone to pick up the phone and call you and ask what the price is. But what I found is people get pissed.
Mhm.
People who rely on that flyer for information, people who can't go on the internet to figure it out, if they call you, they're irritated that they call you because they know why, they're the wise to the game. And so I've always put prices on my flyers because I'm like, let me just give them the information. Like, I guess they can call me, it's a sign call, it's great, I just don't know if it's a great sign call. Like, a good sign call is one where someone calls and says, hey, would you show me the property? A bad sign call is, hey, how much is it? Okay, thanks. That's just waste your time. So I don't know that maybe you could turn, that conversation from what price is it into I'd love to show you the house. Maybe you're a better salesperson than I am. But I don't know. There's two schools of thought.
Personally, I get really irritated if
Yeah.
I stop. And
Yeah.
the first thing I want to know is, can I afford this house or?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We're gonna be able to find
You could,
any.
Yeah, that's
you
changed,
can.
QR
yeah.
code on it.
But you could, what you could do is
That's
you could bail on the
yeah,
price
that's
and do the QR code, which I think is a decent,
That's a good
Because
point.
then they get to your website.
yeah, and they would get to your website, right? And you and then you capture their information.
Yeah.
So that's nice. But directing everything, using the QR code, or if you're online, if you're doing some, the next part of this would be social media advertising. I think this is really important. So like hit people from different fronts, right? So who are we advertising this house to, right? Well, the buyers is kind of taking care of itself. For the most part, the buyers are gonna find this house probably through one of the apps they're using, purchasing homes, to purchase.
Zillow.
Probably Zillow, like, literally, like, Zillow Redfin is probably about 60% of the Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com. And those three are probably about 70% of the websites people go to shop for houses. The Redfin, Realtor.com, Redfin, Zillow. And Zillow, just because they've got a ton of money, that Zestimate got them a lot of traction, and people like the way the app works. The Redfin app, I hear is really nice, people like that one too, and then Realtor.com is just a great name, Realtor.com.
That's a great one, and you guys can go in there and actually create your own agent account, and you can send your client stuff, send them to Realtor.com before you send them to Zillow. Like if they're sending you stuff from Zillow or Redfin, send them something from Realtor.com and let them see how nice that is if they don't want to go to your website or use your app, right? Try to guide them away from the others if you can, without telling them, but at least, hey, here's Realtor.com, 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 right? Sorry.
No, you're good. But create a good landing page with robust information.
Yeah. Look, I'm done. In that time, I already got it all done, landing, capture form, and the legal information that we have to have. I could publish this right now and it's done. Took me how long?
30
30
minutes.
seconds? No, I was done before you were done
Yeah.
talking.
Can we add this URL in our MLS or is that?
No, you cannot.
No,
So nothing that would take anybody away from the RMLS page.
what you can
Like,
do,
I mean, you can, like the virtual tour you can,
yes,
but the virtual tour has to be completely unbranded. So in most of these companies, they'll give you two tours. One to post here and one to post on the RMLS because they have to have an unbranded tour on this.
Yeah.
That means you can't have a logo, they can't have a logo, nobody gets a logo.
nobody gets it.
It's just photos. Like even if there's a photo picture of your sign,
Yeah, so if there is your sign in any of the pictures,
it has to be blurred out.
it has to be blurred out.
But I don't know, that's.
The market's very.
Well,
Yeah,
they
it
have
was
a,
branded out to
yeah,
everywhere.
it feeds everyone. The RMLS were, if you go to Redfin, all the photos of all those listings started with your input of the RMLS.
Everywhere does.
So they just take the information, extract it from the other.
So that's another reason why we did the listing, or the agent profile in Zillow, right? Because now you can go in and you can add extra stuff to it, because you're an agent in Zillow. And that's why you'll wanna go do an agent in, Realtor.com.
You wanna make sure that you go to those sites and double check, once your listing's live, double check that everything that you've uploaded into RMLS has made it into that. So like, make sure your virtual tours have been uploaded, because they don't always seamless, we talked about this, they don't always go. It's not always a seamless thing, so you may have to manually do it, you may have to,
With your client.
yeah,
You didn't let them know, okay, we're live, start to expect
But-
phone calls or
but no one did-
showings,
Mhm.
and then they go and they look, and they're like, this is wrong, why doesn't it have this? They'll do it, guarantee it.
And this is, I'm glad you said that, brought that up, because there's nothing worse than getting a phone call from your client, is that, yeah, everything, photos look good, everything looks great. I think there's a typo though in your description.
Mhm.
We're all human, we all make typos, I'm the worst at it. It's embarrassing, you never want, because they start questioning you, like, oh my god, I hired the right person. They don't know how to conjugate it, you know, it's like, oh my gosh. Double check, that's,
Everything,
triple check it.
read it backwards, that's always mine. Because when you read this way, You see those ones on Facebook or everywhere where it has misspells or different things in there, it's backwards. Your brain fixes all of it because it's used to what it's supposed to see in that order. So if you're proofreading through, you're already correcting everything in your own mind. So if you go backwards through it, one word at a time, you might be able to catch
Especially when you wrote
something.
it, especially when you wrote it, because you know what it's supposed to say. Okay, so we've created a great landing page and now we need to get people to it. QR codes on permaflyers are great.
Permaflyers.
The permaflyer, so the permaflyer, we talked about this, it says plastic stationary flyer that you're going to put onto the real estate sign if you like.
Yes.
I would suggest at this stage in your career, definitely doing it, it's inexpensive. It's a way for you to show off the house a little bit, to put a QR code on there, to have your logo on there again, to have your picture on there again, whatever it is, it's just another marketing piece to get the people who are out walking around, the neighbors who walk the neighborhood, can stop and look and see it and give them a little information about the house. And the opportunity to hit the QR code and go to your website and see all that stuff again. Because it's all about like making people familiar with your brand, right? So, we should probably do just a class on branding sometime, what that means, right?
Yeah.
But branding is having a consistent message, a consistent look, and having people see it repeatedly over and over and over again, right? So that they start understanding. So my goal with a listing would be, I want people to see it when they walk by. I want people to see it on the internet. I want them to see it when they're searching for houses. Then I'm gonna create some postcards. I'm gonna send that to neighbors. I'm gonna invite neighbors to open houses. I'm gonna use an invite. I'm gonna brand that all up. So it says Kelly Diaz, 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 until they're tired of hearing my name and it sets in, right? And you all want to look really, really good because it's a reflection upon you. So fuss over these things, like fuss over your marketing. Like I was watching Dwight fuss over your marketing today. It was hilarious, and he was nitpicking it, like little things that probably don't make a huge difference, right?
Mhm.
But that's the attention to detail you need to take to your marketing, because fussing over it will make it nice. Hit your deadlines, don't fuss on it over it so much that you can't get it done. But make it as good as you can, make it consistent across this, because it's your
All
brand.
the way, everything you do.
It's your
From
brand.
email signature, business card, flyers, signs, everything needs to flow.
Build
So
a
if,
brand.
if they see that, they know that's Brian, right?
Along with branding and marketing, at what point do you start thinking about doing your own website instead of like a killer?
Once you have money coming in. Yeah,
And
take advantage of the.
Together, right?
Yeah, take advantage of the free stuff, right? Because if you're gonna go off and do your own websites, CRMs, I mean, you definitely, if you're gonna go do another website, you want it to be attached to a CRM, right? And so going to different companies to get that, you're gonna pay a pretty penny for it. So is it wrong to do that? Absolutely not, by all means. A lot of our agents have 2 to 3 websites, right? They have their Fluff website, they have their lead gen website, they have the KW website. Any non-websites, doesn't matter as long as somehow you're getting all the information back into one place and they look like each other in some way, right?
I think, this is my 2 cents, right? And I might be completely wrong on this, but I think that a lot of people overvalue their websites and they spend a fortune on them. And really, I think you just need to have a good looking landing page that talks about you a little bit. And then there has to be a way for them to go search for a home from there. And maybe if you're like marketing a specific neighborhood, maybe there's a page with that neighborhood information. But I just think it's a little bit overvalued, maybe just a little bit overvalued.
Yeah,
I don't know,
so
like,
KW, in regards to that, when they started building the command and agent websites, they spent years, like before they even brought it to us, they spent years with consumers coming into a special section of KW where no employees or agents were allowed to go into, because they were just having consumers come in and test, show them what do they want to see when they go look for homes. And most of them just want to search, right? They want it to be ease of search for a home. And so that's why your home page looks like it does, because that's what they want. They just want to be able to go to a page, look for a home, and then when they get in there, now they can adjust it and make it, whatever, draw on it. And KW actually came out with a drawing on it before, and then Zillow and Trulia and Redfin all added it. Because you could do like, I think you could do like a box, but now you can actually like draw all the way around and choose exactly what you want. But that's why they're the way they are. That's all the consumer wants to see.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is there a tool somewhere in Command or like that has Keller Williams branding on it that we could send out to clients for a satisfaction survey?
There's landing pages, or there's not landing pages. You can actually have a review page and testimonial page on your websites.
Is that a metric that we collect in general as a company?
No.
No, because KW is all about branding yourself, not KW. If you want KW stuff, you can go to Austin. We gather stuff all the time for the social media side of things. We try to push stuff out through the KW, Keller Williams Realty Portland Premier Facebook page, the outward facing one, not the agent one, so that we can post some social media stuff about, and Instagram page that we have to post about Keller Williams as a whole. And we provide lots of stuff during our team meetings, and that would be information about what KW does.
Is
Yeah,
there?
I was thinking more about because as a marketing tool for all of us as a brand that we can all benefit from as KW agents. We talk a lot about how much money we make, but thinking about it from the client's end, that doesn't necessarily tell them, well, those people that sold their houses through them, were they satisfied with that service? So I think it may be something that we maybe of value to us.
Well, so that would be just pertaining to you, not to KW, because they just work with you.
Right.
And that's where the value of having your own, most people go to Zillow.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to help you guys go towards your own Google business.
Sure.
And have your brand in there.
We could be able to say like 97% of customers were 100% satisfied
Yeah.
or something.
And that's the difference between
There's-
KW
yeah.
and the other brokerages, where it is all about the brokerage, and KW is about the individual agents and their business.
I think it's good to use Google, Zillow, and then also have some personal ones.
Yeah, you actually want to guide them wherever the consumers are gonna go.
Yeah.
And most of them don't go to KW. Like Dwight said, Dwight's clients, they have no idea what office he's actually with.
Mhm.
They just know it's Dwight.
Yeah, this is this is our little KW spiel here, right? Because in KW, I've worked at Realogy, Realogy owns Keller Williams, Better Homes and Gardens, ERA, Sotheby's, not Keller Williams, did I say Keller Williams? Sorry, Better Homes and Gardens, Coldwell Banker, Sotheby's, they own like 10 brands. They're the largest real estate in a whole, right? As a whole, they're the largest company in the world. They're bigger than Keller Williams, as a whole.
As a whole.
Because they've got a ton of different brands. And if you go there and you work there, they will try to convince you that the reason why you're successful is solely because of those companies. Like they're all about, the Coldwell Banker sign means something. Nobody cares about it. Your clients, Dwight's clients, they don't know where he works. They don't know where I work. Nobody knows where he works. Nobody really cares. They care about you. So that's what's great about Keller Williams is they'll let you brand you. Like good luck going to Coldwell Banker and having your own sign done, or going somewhere else and having your own sign done. Like they're fighting you because they want you to market them.
Yeah.
Because they're the reason you're so successful, right? No, they're not. You're the reason you're so successful.
Yeah.
So,
I worked at Remax.
yeah,
And when I first started, I talked to my uncle in California and told him I want to work at Remax. And he's like, what's Remax? In California. And I'm like, what do you mean, what's Remax?
Yeah.
They just don't care. They
But
care about
everyone-
their agent, yeah. Our top agent I worked for, as an assistant, she had one.
oh, really, she did have one. That's
She
nice.
did. Yeah. She was still using an 1880s.
So, back on track. Wrap up this rest. And so then I think the final piece of this would be print advertising. And so I think flyers are super overrated. Sometimes I bought them to appease clients and put them in the house, but usually people show up with all the information. Tell them, oh man, that's like, take the flyers back down. But you can't do it. I think most of the time I see them on the floor of people's cars or things, maybe they're good for an open house if you need to get somebody to take away instead of a business card. A flyer is probably more impactful, so it's good for an open house. But I love, and I've done this a couple times, I love doing, like a Thursday night open house on a new listing in a neighborhood that's pretty well traveled, where people, where there's a sense of community. I've done like Thursday night open houses and invite just the neighbors, so I'll send out like 100 invitations, I'll make invitations. And they'll be very heavily branded, and I'll invite them to come to my open house, and I'll do bubbles or whatever. It's just really just for the neighbors to come through and see the house. It's a great opportunity to get your name out there, again, showing them the marketing you're doing. Like, it's a great chance to like, we talk about this as a company where we're trying to recruit agents. We don't want to tell people what we do, we want to show them what we do.
Right.
Showing is much better than telling. So if you can show them, you know, your marketing prowess, it'll go. So I do that, I do, you know, just listed postcards, just sold postcards, those are really impactful. And then the sign, directional
Especially if
sign.
it's in an area you wanna build up.
Yeah.
Right? If you do a one-time just listed, just sold,
You may not have as much impact, but they're pretty inexpensive. I mean, it's not too expensive, it can get up there,
can be.
yeah, it can be expensive. But if you get client out of it, it's not.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, if you get one client, it pays for it, but sometimes it takes time for that to get there, right?
But you can focus your advertising for that particular home or that zip code through both
Mhm.
Google,
Yep.
Facebook,
Oh, yeah,
and then probably Instagram as well,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
And so imagine the impact of that, right? Like you're hitting, the neighbors are seeing that you invited them to an open house, they're seeing that you just listed it, they're seeing that you just sold it, and they're seeing ads for it for you on the internet, like on their Facebook page, on their Google page, on Instagram, on whatever else, TikTok, whatever it is you want to do. But it's impactful, it's like showing, again, let's see the branding all over this.
I have a medical question.
Yeah.
You have a client that you're going to do the listing presentation. You try to get them to become a customer, you guys have a sign a presentation or listing. You walk to the front door, they open the front door, before you even walk in, you're blasted with the smoke, cigarette smoke.
That's horrible, right?
You can't see it on photos.
Yeah.
nope,
But you know people are gonna talk about it.
absolutely.
How do you address that?
Price, it's only, there are, I've heard of people doing like this ionizing technique, they try to years it doesn't work. The only way to fix that is to surely fix it. The 100% cure that is to remove all the sheetrock, all the floorboards, all the carpet, and redo the entire side outside.
But I guess the question more point is, do you address that in the listing? Or do you leave it out?
I don't think you should listen. I would leave it in the neighborhood like that.
Mhm.
But I would definitely, they
Yeah, you have to reflect it in price,
definitely reflect the price.
You have a conversation with them. about that.
that it's gonna in order for.
That's a hard conversation to have.
non-smoker-
Yeah,
In
I
order
think
for a non-smoker to come
I've
into
been
the
on the
home.
other end of that, we were posting at home, and a lot of people were frustrated, they didn't even come in the house.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
Yelling at me like, why didn't you put this on the listing, and it's, you can't have that explanation of like, it's not the listing. But
You can't really say that.
but I was just thinking at the table,
You could.
if I got a client, I feel like I wanna not waste anyone's time and get that.
I think if it's gotta be reflected in the price. And if it's the right price, then they won't
question.
So
question.
people
Can you
would
put it in
that
the
together.
agent section?
No, I wouldn't
Wait,
put it,
No,
The
no,
agent was,
Put
no, you
Put
even.
I mean, like I just showed you guys, that house that was listed and it had a tenant, and it was really super cluttered, and it was $399. Why is it $399?
I mean, that, yeah, that,
Right, so it's stuff like that, because I know every house that is that size in that area are $450 this set.
I'm thinking about like a client, I wouldn't even wanna take a client to a house if I knew that they were adamantly against that. So
Right.
how do you call every agent and ask them, is this a smoker's home? Before you show it, like, I'm trying to figure out the best way to say.
I just don't think I don't think you can avoid it. I would never advertise that it's not.
No. I can find it, I've been hundreds of contacts and all that. I've been
Yeah.
in homes that I left and went home and took a shower.
Yes,
because
sir.
I've been in homes where I walked out and I had spiders on me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's just part of the game. It's
Yeah.
not supposed to be- I don't think you can. I don't think it's
Is there
effective.
anything wrong with putting it in the listing?
I think you're gonna
transparent?
fish your clients out.
You would have to ask their permission.
Yeah,
Yeah, they'd be
Absolutely.
mad. I think they would be mad.
Yep.
You're leading with the negative.
Yeah, you don't want to leave with negative.
Like, yeah, you don't have to say the house smells good, but don't say it.
say smoke or something.
I wouldn't say that.
Guess what, probably when a smoker, we walk in and you.
Because if you say that, you know, even if you get the price right, you're gonna eliminate so many people from coming through. If you get the price right, somebody might come through and be like, again, wow, this is a lot of money for the price, we better check this out. Because that's what's gonna sell that house, price.
Or perhaps like selling as a smoking house.
You know, I get the prices are, they say, okay, we can done this, give us an extra.
That's how it's gonna sell, and that's the only way it's gonna sell, it's not gonna sell if the price is right, or if a smoker comes through.
That's a positive.
I would say along those lines too, if you're gonna have any kind of air freshener, make sure it smells good. 'Cause
Yeah.
I hosted an open for an agent here and whatever they used was so horrible. And then I also showed another house to a buyer and that one was such an overpowering, horrible smell. I had all my windows open in the car, like 2 hours later, I had to go home and shower.
I always recommend, if they're gonna use a smelly, go with a food smell, a light, simple cookie food smell. Because it's warming, right? It's not overpowering. And it's just more of a comfort when you go in the home to smell that. Vanilla's a good one.
If they've been smokers, it's not gonna.
It's never, nothing's gonna cover that.
Nothing's gonna go.
No, but it doesn't have to have it smell like you just baked some cookies.
You don't
Right?
want it to smell like your dad.
No, some people pick some horrible floral smells. My allergies, I'm so bad, like I bought a vanilla coconut soap. And I used it this morning, I went to leave and I'm like, nope, that's not mine no more. It's just one little tiny smell can really trigger everything, so that's what you also want to do, right? All right, we gotta wrap up.
Yeah, one last thing, just like, remember you're scheduling this stuff, you're gonna be scheduling photographers, right?
Mhm.
So don't wait till the last minute, get out ahead of it, like, you know, you got the listing, let's get the phone, let's get this thing scheduled. Make sure you coordinate the times effectively with your clients, say, hey, like on the listing appointment, or once you know you're gonna get the listing, like, okay, when do you wanna go to market? Okay, we need to make sure we have the photos done on this day, so we have time to do this, and if you've got a bunch of marketing materials you wanna do as a layout, and you've gotta make sure you've got a little extra lead time. So have those conversations with them, because you can't just do this stuff overnight. Like even if you're gonna do the mailer, invite people to your open house on Sunday or Thursday or Saturday, whatever you do, Friday night, whatever you do open house. It's like, it's gotta get printed, it's gotta get stamped, labeled, put in the mail, and received, in time for people to come, right? So planning and proper preparation is everything.
Yep,
Have any suggestions for stagers?
for stagers. There's been some really great ones recommended on our KWPP agent page.
Yeah.
That's the best place to go. Go to our agents in, see who they use, who they recommend, and then interview them, right? Like Peter's stager, not for everybody. She does a great job, but she's got a very strong opinion, right? So for her, she's great to use on those stubborn clients. They might not like her, but she has no problem letting them know what's gonna sell their house, right? Or she can help them if Peter and Alex let her know, we really think that they need to paint and they need to replace the flooring in this room, right? So they send her in to do the dirty work.
What's her name?
Lynn,
Lynn.
yeah, she's great.
She'll do.
But she's
some
very-
stagers, like,
Yeah, no, no.
Some stagers don't do the occupied staging where they'll come
Yeah.
in and say, okay, move this furniture around and deep and clean, but some stagers only do like a vacant home.
Yeah.
Stage the whole thing, but you can find ones that'll.
That'll do both.
Just do like a quick consult, like, hey, I don't know, maybe they're not doing anything with furniture, but they're just telling them here's how to work with what you've got, and maybe they throw in some pillows and
Yeah.
accessories and that's
Right.
it. So there's different. kinds.
Different levels. The Clark Group pays for the first hour for a consult. Sorry,
But what is,
they pay for the first hour consult. That's part of their package, right? To get her to come in to fix the things and have those tougher conversations so they don't have to.
Not stagers.
Yeah, there are agents that do it.
Yeah.
But
Don't lose
don't lose your
sight of it.
focus.
but you know,
Yeah, it can be a lot of work.
And a lot of.
Yeah. You have
Either
your
that
warehouse
furniture,
full of
or you
stuff.
either have to have, or you have to rent it all in your own life.
Yeah.
It's
A big job.
It's a big job.
So I worked for
It is a
the
huge
state
job,
for
yeah,
all
moving,
last
moving.
year, so.
Coordinating the move. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's why most stagers get out of the business, because of coordination.
Yeah.
And their stuff gets run.
Any questions before we kick you out?
Pays for the state.
I took a good sell on Facebook.
Yeah, the actual stage in the cellar.
For the person that you just go and check on it, we can pay.
You can, or you can have the seller pay for it, right? You can recommend, it's all how you want to set it up.
I like the new clock.
I know. I just wanted to flash, so we can flash it at Dwight, because he goes long. Austin, you can start recording.